so I'm back on the Ratrod build, and for this video I would like to try to get this moving under its own power. I've ordered some things. I ordered some inner tubes for the front tires, some tail lights. I did order something to get it from this to here and all that nonsense. Alright guys, so I'm working on the go-kart again, and as you see, the first thing I did was I neatened up the wires a bit. I still got to figure something out with this. I'll probably just tape up like how I did this side. One thing is, I do think I'm going to have to change out my headlights because the bulb that I have in it, it's not staying in. So I'm going to have to figure something else out about that. I was looking at the exhaust because as you saw before, it went straight out like that. So what I did was, these are off of a, what was it? A trampoline, like the legs of a trampoline. So I found another piece that this piece will slide in, like so. So then I'll just have to weld it, but then I cut the end to kind of dump out like so, so it'll aim diagonally out. Now all I have to do is weld those on, and then the exhaust, at least the exhaust look will be done. And then another thing I'm going to have to do is figure out a mount or like something to kind of hold it. Alright, so I got the mount all done. I trimmed up a little here so it's closer, and this piece obviously I welded on. I did run it to see if there's any vibration, because there is a little play, which I think I'm fine with, but when it runs, it's not, you know, bouncing bad. Alright guys, I'm back at it with the go-kart, and as you saw before, I added a little tip and a exhaust holder, and today stuff just came in. So I went to BMI Karts and I ordered some stuff. So I got an axle kit, which is in this, and I got 2 new tires for the back. I went with bigger tires because I just wanted a bigger looking tire in the back. So I went with these rims because it has this opening, or these like little cuts, and it kind of gives it like a more, it gives it a different look, and I like the way these ones look. So I decided to go with these. These are 22 by 10 by 10, so they're the same thickness, a little taller, and a bigger rim. I think this is going to give it a cooler look because it's just like it's a bigger tire, and it'll sit up higher against the body. And another thing I like about the BMI Karts is they always send this. So I like how they send stuff like that. So they're not a sponsor, we just like their stuff and we've always used them for our builds. The reason I got a new axle is because this axle is only keyed in certain spots, and the sprocket was set in a certain spot in here. Like the axle only sits right here and I wouldn't be able to move it. Got the old axle out with the tires. I set a new tire so you guys could see the size comparison. So it's going to be a lot bigger, which I'm fine with. So I have the old axle out, as you could see. But yeah, so that's where I'm at so far. I have all this stuff in here, so I'll get putting this together. Alright guys, so I got the new tires on, and I'm really liking how it's looking. Just wanted to show you. They are a lot bigger, which I'm fine with. I put this side on too. The hub, everything's still loose because I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put the chain, where I have to put the brake disc and all that stuff. But at least now I'm able to move them to the side, and you know, it's not in the way. I actually really like the way the back tires look on it. I did braze the back end a lot, and I like how how it got closer to that back window, making it just look massive. So that's where we're at. Now I gotta just figure out the 90-degree angle stuff to get it driving. Alright guys, so I got the brake all in. I'm gonna have to get a shorter line. This one's way too long. I wasn't thinking. So this now stretches like really far. So I'm gonna get a shorter line, which is fine because this longer line could possibly be used for Mikey's. We ended up getting Mikey a go-kart. So if anything, I could give him that one. I'll just have to get a shorter one and figure something out. So yeah, so now I gotta figure out a good way to run this so it's kind of out of the way. But for now I have to go to work, so I'm gonna clean up and get back on it tomorrow. Alright, so I'm working on my go-kart again. I got the taillight out, and what I did was I'm using these holes already to put the wires through. But yeah, so these will go in like so, and then this will sit about like that. So I'm gonna have them like that, and then I was thinking like this, but not a huge fan of that look. I was like just kind of doing this type of stuff, trying to see which way it looks best. So I'm gonna drill those holes out, put this one on, take the other one out, and put it on that. So that's how the taillights sit. I didn't wire them up yet. I'm gonna have to do that, but that's how they are. So I'm working on my go-kart again, and as you see, I'm working up front now. I bought this gearbox thing off of Amazon. It's for an ATV that bolts to the side, and then it allows you to like have a forward and reverse. So I bought that, and I took this torque converter kit apart and I shortened the rod to push in there. I'm gonna weld that rod into that, and I'm gonna keep the one side so I could thread it on. And how I'm doing this chain is, as you see, this chain is gonna run in to this spot here, like where this gap is. It's gonna come across, and then I'm gonna stop it somewhere, and then I'm going to make the rest of it come out, and I'm gonna move the sprocket in between this tire, so then the rest of the chain would come out here, so you would get a chunk of chain out here, and then I'll just make something to cover that chain in there. Alright guys, so I ended up making a bracket for the gear shifter thing. I ended up buying a sprocket for it, but it doesn't fit. So what I did was I took the thing that slides on here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld the sprocket onto this, and what I'm going to do to line it up is I'm going to line these notches up with these notches, and then once I feel it's all even, or as even as I can get it, I'm going to tack it. So wish me luck. So I got it all welded. I'm now going to kind of bolt it on, it's still hot, and I'm hoping that the heat doesn't mess with it. So now I'll just see if it works. Another thing is I welded this shaft into here, so this is where the torque converter pulley is going to be. I am able to shift it, so I will be able to go in reverse and stuff. So I got it all welded on, and as you see, it's on here. Now I'm going to work on the chain to get to the back. So I have a couple of loose chains like this, and I'm thinking go as far back here or something. I don't know. I got this out of the other torque converter kit. This is off of an old torque converter, that shaft. So now I ended up ordering another sprocket for this, so that now I could have it go somewhere like this, where you got a sprocket on the inside and a sprocket on the outside, and then this will go to the sprocket out here. And Mikey did a generic math, and he thinks that we should go about 50 in this, but I don't know. So I'm gonna have to go to the store, get a nut, and then figure out a way to add this somewhere. All right guys, so it started raining, but I want to show you what I did. As you see right here is where the one sprocket's going to be, and it's going to lead to out here. I didn't do this yet because I wanted to figure out the inside, which I got in, and there's actually not that bad of play. I will be making a guard for this, obviously, since it's in the inside, but now all I have to do is figure out this back chain. Alright guys, so as you see, I got this back sprocket and gear set up. I also got the inside set up. I do want to hammer on the exhaust a bit because the chain does rub a little there, but I got this side all locked down. Even gotten the hub tightened up, so this is all good. I still got to tighten this side, just the hub and the tire. So I'm gonna put this tire back on, and then jump over here and do this hub. So that's the plan. But yeah, so kind of like the way that looks. It gives it more of a Ratrod look. So I'm gonna tighten up the hubs, put the tires on, and then set it down and check how it looks after that. All right guys, so I got the chain hooked up, all the tires on. I'm going to test everything out. I jacked up the back. I'm going to try to start the engine and then kind of give it some gas, see if it works. So it works. It didn't seem like anything's rubbing. The rubbing here, I ended up taking that exhaust off and hitting it with a hammer. So this chain no longer rubs. I should be able to go for a test ride. Alright guys, so I was just checking the brakes to see if they work. I think the plan now is I could bring it down there to test drive it. I'll probably do that. I want to look in the carburetor again. I might have to just turn the idle up a bit, but I'm I'm excited. So let me try to get this idling better, and then I'll bring this down and we'll do a test drive. Alright guys, so I got the go-kart down the hill. I'm going to try to see if I can get it moving under its own power. So here we go. Alright guys, so there it is. I am going to definitely have to hook up that reverse because this is so long. I think I have to figure out something with the front, because I think I have to try to strengthen this box, like get it sturdy, more sturdy, because it seems to be having some play. So I'm going to rethink that, because this chain, it did get a little loose. But other than that, it runs and drives now. So my next steps for this is to obviously figure out that box thing, make it more sturdy so it doesn't have any play, and do any final touches, and wrap this video up, or this go-kart up. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, I hope you enjoyed your cruise down to Lashman Road.